Hello, everyone, and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. In the news, an investigation into a recent burglary resulted in 5 felony arrests, cleared cases in 2 counties, resulted in recovery of 10 stolen weapons, 2 stolen vehicles, and multiple tools, and discovery of methamphetamine and drug paraphernalia, according to Hopkins County Sheriff's arrest reports. Credited for their involvement in the investigation were Hopkins County Sheriff's investigators Wade Sheets and Dennis Findley, and patrol deputies, and Franklin County Sheriff Ricky Jones and his investigators. 8 stolen weapons were found hidden under fallen timber, brush, and leaves in the woods behind a County Road 2390 residence. One man who arrived at the residence was alleged to have a stolen firearm in his possession, a stolen Suburban, and another vehicle that had been reported stolen in Franklin County were also found at another location. Arrested last Friday for engaging in organized criminal activity were 36-year-old Rusty Lee Clay and 34-year-old Shauna Clay, both of Winsboro, and 39-year-old Lonnie Hammond Allen of Royce City. Arrested on a third-degree felony tampering with evidence charge was 34-year-old Jeffrey Joseph Stogner of Sulphur Springs. Rusty Clay was also charged with possession of 4 grams or more but less than 200 grams of a controlled substance after admitting that a box containing more than 4 grams of meth, syringes, scales, and other drug paraphernalia that was found in a culvert was his, Sheets and Findley alleged in arrest reports. Sulphur Springs High School graphic design students Katie Beth Hurd and OCL Lopez Friday were presented with cash awards for submitting the design selected by Hopkins County EMS as their new logos. Hurd was awarded a $250 honorarium check for her first place logo, and Lopez received a $125 honorarium for his second place logo. Hopkins County EMS Director Brent Smith explained that the department hasn't had a true logo in decades, so a new one was wanted, and Hopkins County EMS paramedics attempted to come up with a logo but decided that more creative help was needed, so they contacted Sulphur Springs High School. A competition was made among students for the design. Hopkins County EMS met with the students and individually coached them through a revision session. Hurd's and Lopez's designs were both selected by Hopkins County EMS. And Brent Smith said the reason we chose 2 is some logos are more applicable to certain things, websites and things, versus apparel. And sometimes, even though logos are very cool, they don't embroider very well. So we wanted to have flexibility of having both, and we're very fortunate that we're getting different file types for whatever we choose to put our logos on. Crime in Hopkins County remained low last year, with only 4 more offenses last year than the record low of 116 in the 9 major offense categories, according to Hopkins County Sheriff's Office crime data. Hopkins County Sheriff Lewis Tatum pointed out that these are crimes against people and property, but do not include self-inflicted criminal cases such as controlled substance offenses. More narcotics cases are getting generated, according to Tatum. He also added that you do not see those reflected in these stats. They are not crimes against people or property. The 120 crimes recorded last year, second lowest in the last 20 years. New record lows were set in burglary and theft categories last year, with the clearance rate remaining at 91.7% overall. Tatum attributed the significant drop in crime and increased clearance rates during the last 15 years largely to a proactive approach and quick, dogged work of the Sheriff's Department. He said most reports originate with patrol deputies who not only call in investigators the same day when the investigation is warranted. Both doggedly continue to develop and follow up on leads. Sometimes, he says, that means working on a case all night, then passing along the information to the incoming on-duty deputies who pick up and continue working the case, or in some cases stay with it until the case is solved. And in crimes against people, 2 categories were up and 2 were down last year, and 1 was unchanged. The clearance rate in these categories was 100%. That clearance rate, again, Tatum said, is due to the diligence and dedication of officers. He said while he wishes there were no violent crimes, and especially not an increase in them, officers deal with them as they happen, jumping on them quickly. Again, from Sheriff Lewis Tatum. A 26-year-old Winsboro woman was jailed Friday afternoon for forgery against the elderly, according to arrest reports. Brittany Marie Buffington was at Sulphur Springs Police Department to talk to Detective David Gilmore when she was advised of the warrant and was placed into custody at 1:41 p.m. on Friday. She is alleged to have passed a check forged on the account of a woman who was older than 65 years old, and this happened November 21st of last year. And in sports, you can either blame it on a very bad start or a very bad finish. The Greenville Lions, playing at home, stunned the Wildcats basketball team 41-38 Friday night in the district opener for both teams. Wildcats had a miserable first quarter as Greenville was up 8-2 after 1. The Wildcats recovered over the next 2 quarters as they led 20-14 at the half and 34-28 entering the fourth quarter. And the Wildcats' fourth quarter was terrible. Greenville outscored the Wildcats 13-4 to win the game. A 3-pointer by the Lions' Quinn Anderson put Greenville in front for the first time since early in the game. A basket by the Wildcats would have put them back up, but they could just not get their shots to fall. Jeremiah Abrego of Greenville hit 2 clutch late free throws to extend the lead to 3 points. With just 3 seconds left, the Wildcats' long baseball pass into the forecourt for what they hoped would be a good desperation 3-point shot to tie the game was intercepted, and it was celebration time in Greenville. The Lions improved their season record to 24-4 and their district mark to 1-0. This week, by the way, the Lions are ranked number 21 in Class 5A. The Wildcats, now ranked number 9 in Class 5A, slipped to 18-7 for the season and 0-1 in district play. Cam Smith led Greenville with 14 points. For the Wildcats, Lamadrick Johnson had 9. Day Hall and Grayson McClure both scored 8 points. Cameron Kahn had 6 points. Justin Hare, 4 points. Boo Wilkerson, 3 points. The Wildcats play next at home as Mount Pleasant comes to town Tuesday night for a district game. And I'll say this early, get there early. It'll be a big crowd. Lady Cats basketball team broke into the district win column with a solid 52-31 win at Greenville Friday evening. The Lady Cats led 16-11 after 1 quarter, increased their lead to 29-22 at the half, and then 39-26 after 3 quarters. And the Lady Cats wrapped up the win, outscoring the Lady Lions 13-5 in the fourth quarter. The Lady Cats allowed Greenville to score only 9 second-half points. Junior Nyla Lindley had a good game for the Lady Cats, scoring 17 points while grabbing lots of rebounds. Addison Wall scored 12 points, including 3 3-point baskets. Delaney Miles had her best game as a Lady Cats varsity player, scoring 8 points. And Hannah Cordell scored 6 points, and Kate Womack had 4 points. Breasia Ivory added 3 points, and Addie Lamb had 2 points. The Lady Cats improved their district record to 1-2 and their season record to 8-18. The Lady Cats will continue district play Tuesday evening with Mount Pleasant coming to town for a 6:15 p.m. game. Wildcats soccer team wrapped up play in the Terrell Winter Classic Saturday with a 2-1 win over Seagoville. Over 3 days, the Wildcats won 2 games and tied 1. The Wildcats tied Kilgore 1-1 and defeated Hallsville 2-0. On Saturday, the Wildcats got 2 goals from Kevin Yanez. The Wildcats got goals from Kevin Yanez and from Nabian Ramirez, and they were both assisted by Ricardo Torres. Wildcats coach Alexi Upton said it was a good win. He said the Wildcats were good on the attack and created lots of scoring chances. He said the Wildcats could have scored more goals. Wildcats season record improves to 4-4-3. And the Wildcats will play 2 home matches this week. They will be hosting Pittsburgh Tuesday night and then welcoming Mesquite Poteet to Primm Stadium on Friday night. Coach Upton, by the way, is a graduate of Mesquite Poteet. Lady Cats soccer team scored early and often to overwhelm Seagoville 17-0 in the Terrell Tiger Winter Soccer Tournament on Friday. In the one-sided match, Rebecca Stanley and Ashley Noe both scored 5 goals. Haley Robinson had 4 goals. Liseth Cormona, Elizabeth Reyes, and Caitlin Robinson scored 1 goal apiece. Assist leaders in the game for the Lady Cats, Stanley had 4, Haley Robinson had 4, Maury Flecker had 2, Vanessa Lara had 2, and Emily Soto and Elizabeth Reyes had 1 each. Lady Cats coach Javier Aguayo said that he was proud of the Lady Cats. He said they came out and had fun. Coach Aguayo said everyone got playing time and enjoyed themselves. And in the tournament, the Lady Cats ended up winning 2 games and losing only 1, and that was just by 1 goal. The Lady Cats season record improves to 2-4-1, and the Lady Cats will be playing at Pittsburgh on Tuesday night. The Sulphur Bluff Lady Bears basketball team got a big homecoming district win Friday night, setting up a district showdown of unbeaten teams with Saltillo Tuesday night in Saltillo. The Lady Bears overwhelmed Union Hill 85-7 in that homecoming game. That made those X's happy, I'll bet. The Lady Bears set the tone for the game in the first quarter, outscoring Union Hill 21-0. Lady Bears led 44-4 at the half and 64-4 after 3 quarters, and of course again 85-7 at the end. Coach Zandra Payton said the Lady Bears played great defense. For the Lady Bears, Skylar Stanley had 33 points and 19 rebounds, along with 2 steals. Jada Wade had 13 points, 3 rebounds, and 8 steals. Angel Brown had 10 points, 9 assists, 2 rebounds, and 2 steals. Tori Rainey had 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1 assist. Delina DiDonato had 10 points and 8 rebounds, along with 1 assist. Bailey Neal had 7 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 steals. Molly Kelly had 2 points, 2 steals, and an assist, and Lydia Drummond had 3 rebounds, a steal, and an assist. And again, both Sulphur Bluff and Saltillo are 4-0 in district play. They'll be breaking that tie for the first half of district play Friday night at Saltillo. And speaking of the Saltillo Lady Lions basketball team, they did remain unbeaten in district play with a dominating win over Bloomburg 70-20 on Friday at Bloomburg. Lady Lions led 24-4 after the first quarter, 42-12 at halftime, and 54-20 after 3 quarters. The Lady Lions outscored Bloomberg 16-0 in the 4th quarter. Lady Lions were led by Anna Reeder with 16 points. Maddie Smith had 11. Allie Lane and Jocelyn Ochoa scored 9 points each. And Chandler Bain, Brittany Peoples, and McKenna Gurley all had 6 points. Christina Wade scored 5 points, and Juliana Giles had 3 points. Lady Lions coach Bill Giles said this was a good win on the road. He noted that Bloomberg's gym is hard to play in and said the Lady Lions came out playing really well to start the game. The now 13th ranked Lady Lions improved their season record to 21-7. And again, repeating, they will play Sulphur Bluff in Saltillo Tuesday night in the battle of undefeated district teams, with games starting over there, sub-varsities at 4:30 p.m. And finally, the Miller Grove Lady Hornets basketball team picked up a win over Savoy on Friday, 50-34. Miller Grove coach Blake Hill reported that Harley Watson led the Lady Hornets with 22 points. Lauren Bullard had 11 points. Georgia Bessonette scored 8 points. Lainey Burnett had 6 points, and Summer Coker scored 3 points. And that's Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian. Thank you for joining me, and so long, everybody.